and 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Australian eCrit powered by Kiss and Zwift Community Live. My name is Jesper Anker. Right down below me here, we've got a set of twins, Wesley and Bernie Salzberg. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good, Jasper.
Good, thanks.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us on.
This is the final round of the eCrit. Wes, 5 months of racing, man. How do you feel?
It's been a long amount of racing, but the intensity has seemed to just get higher and higher as we've gone on through the series. Like, it's not slowing down, so it's all going to come to a head, isn't it?
I mean, you say that from a spectator's point of view. Bernie's actually the one racing the series, so what do you feel?
Well, I've actually only done one. Only threw my hat in the ring for one round, and and that was probably enough. I really got it handed to me. I thought I was going all right, but actually it was a lot harder than what I thought. But yeah, it's very competitive, and it's been great to watch and great doing one race in the eCrit.
Now the question is, are you going to come with us to Melbourne on the 23rd of September, Bernie?
Well, I'd like to, but I'm just signing it up with work commitments and stuff like that. But yeah, I won't say yes and I won't say no at this stage.
We'll get him there.
Wes, you know what your job is now. You got to pull him up and carry him.
Yeah. No, we'll make sure, hopefully we get Bernie along to the eCrit, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other people joining us, including Wendy's superfan, who's going to bring a cowbell along as well, Jasper. So
we don't need a cowbell. We've already got this. I mean, does it get better?
Don't bring in a half cowbell across the world, mate. We've got the real deal. Wendy's going to help us up.
You know, this will probably even be taken in the customs. So I go, what is this? This is not entering the country. Nope, we're going to throw it out. Anyway.
Half a bill.
So we've got Wes and Bernie on here tonight. Most people already know Wes, as he's been commentating with me for the last 3 months. But Bernie's a newcomer, and I think to do the introduction, it's got to be his brother, right? Wes, can you let everybody know who Bernard Salzberger is?
So Bernie has raced internationally as well across the globe. He's raced in Belgium. He's raced in throughout Asia. He's been part of Drakeback Pro Cycling Team, which is now merged with Canada, and I actually raced alongside Bernie in that team. So that was pretty cool to experience that race alongside each other. We'd raced against each other for many years, so it was cool to come to. That was 2014 to come to a head to race actually together. And Bernie, as of last year, signed off from his professional career the same time as me and Matt Goss at the Launceston Cycling Classic. And now Bernie is looking to get back involved in cycling again, and through Zwift obviously is you know, making it a great platform for when having little kids and you're quite time poor, because Bernie's got a couple of little fellas running around now. So yeah, that's Bernie ready to take on the world with virtually now on the racing.
Now, who's the strongest cyclist of you two, Bernie?
Well,
I'd say right now, Bernie,
at the moment,
Bernie,
maybe I'd probably have him, because he's been off the bike with the commitments of Zwift and whatnot, travelling. So at the moment, I might just have him, Jasper.
We'll have to have a match-up.
You know, yeah, speaking of that, if you both come to Melbourne, we should take like a 2-minute break to see who's the fastest up the forward KOM on Zwift. You down for that?
Oh, geez, you're committing us to too much too soon. But yeah, we'll probably have to do something. Yeah, I might have to bring the old bike shoes along with me.
Oh, you know, if you're watching right now on Facebook, there's nothing going to get these guys into action but peer pressure. So let them know in the comment section below if you want to come to Melbourne and see this in action on the 23rd of September at the Rapha Cycling Club Melbourne. But Wes, with 5 minutes to go, something is a bit different about today's broadcast. Beside having two Salzburgers in here, we've also got the wildcard entry that's actually, the vote has begun over on the Kiss Road Race page. What's happening?
Yeah, it has, and it's been very hotly contested. So looks like that Nazi popped an aero power up straight out of the gates and took off to a fly there, but it's sort of started to slow down a little bit now. It's actually back in the group, I guess you call it. We had a couple other breakaways, Jesper. Who were they?
So we got Anthony Ciano and Jono based, the Western eCrit guys who race over on Zwift Community Live. They've actually got plenty of family and friends involved, and currently Anthony Ciano is sitting at 140 votes for the wildcard entry, with Jono at 120 and Nazi at 100. Wildcard entries, well, the poll will end tomorrow at 8 p.m. Australian time. I think it is Sydney time, or can you confirm this, Wes?
Yeah, we'll confirm you tomorrow at 12 at midnight. So tomorrow night, Eastern Standard Time, it will close. We're getting a couple of other comments now. Jono's hashtagging wildcard for Jono over on the comments. And we've got a couple of Aiden saying wildcard hashtag for Nadsy. So yeah, it's going to come to a head. But even Bernie said, I think he only just put the vote in the other day after he was pledged a little bit from the Wolfpack crew.
Yeah, Aaron Dunn might have asked the question if everyone actually voted. So get on board and obviously vote for hashtag Nadsy.
Oh, that's good. You know, I somewhat fear that Nazi is going to be riding around today in the eCrit, just popping up a billboard saying "Wildcard for Nazi, guys! Wildcard for Nazi" all the way around.
Might get a few spectators en route to even say go Nazi.
Yeah, maybe they might. I'm sure we'll get some shout outs from the comments here that'll stream through. They'll go Nazi.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun. So a bit of background story over on the, you'll see over on the Kiss Road Rage page where it's all happening. They've all put a bit of a story in the comment section below why you should vote for them. So head over there, let them do the talking. Also head over to swiftpower.com to see where they've actually been, you know, standing in the results. Because a guy like Nazi, he's been up there. Damo Hosanna's been up there. On the western side, John O'Bates, Richard Cook, Anthony Ciano, they've all been up there as well. But 3 minutes to go, and we're on the London Classics course tonight. Do you like this course, Bernie?
Yeah, it's a solid course. Obviously, this has been run a fair few times. It was, well, I think it was the Richmond course. A lot of people weren't familiar with, but obviously this one, everyone's pretty familiar with, and it does wear down on you if you burn biscuits early on. It does catch up with you, this course, which and you can do a fly like Pat Shaw did. So it's good all round course, really.
Burn the biscuits. I think you spent too much time with you, Wes.
Yeah, no, the biscuits can get burned up really early, and I'm sure that we'll see some of these guys burning up these biscuits straight out of the gates. And it does always start really fast and hard in this eCrit series. I don't think we've seen any starts that have been timid. So every one of these has been cyclocross style out the gate, full knacker, and everyone's sort of hanging on for that first 2 to 3 minutes. And when you raced it the other week, Bernie, how was that first? Can you explain those first 2 to 3 minutes? I know I've done some other KISS races, but the eCrit I think is another level.
Yeah, it was. I thought I'd start pretty hard, so I actually started in the small ring, and
that big mistake.
but I kicked it pretty hard out of the gate, and I went, oh yeah, I went actually a little bit too quick. I went off the front, and I was like, oh, I actually went too hard here.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I had to settle back in. Yeah. And when I settled back in, I was like, yeah, I probably went a bit too hard there. And then, the first lap is just hectic. Everyone's just going, flat out. So is the first lap till you settle in it's not easy. Yeah.
Man, so if anyone out there is currently in the small ring, you know what to do. Don't pull a Bernie. Make sure to be ready for this. It's going to be fun when the start flag goes down. But Wes, if you are a Western wildcard nominee, are you racing the Eastern one tonight for the broader audience?
Well, that is being put out there by Nadsy himself to see if the other guys want to test themselves to take on this the Eastern series. And I know that a few of the other guys that commented back, and Ciano said he would try and see if he could get out of work commitments and things to try and race tonight. So I think everyone's just excited to be involved. So yeah, if they can make it, then obviously definitely encourage that to experience the Eastern eCrit, and we'll see that come to light tonight. We've got a couple of the comments on the stream coming through now. Someone's saying you're doing great, Jesper. That's translated, by the way. I think it's in your native language.
Thank you.
And it says Jimmy. Your Jimmy is your translation for Jesper in English.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy, Jim, and then I-N-Y, Jiminy. I think you're Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket.
No.
And Bates is in, it says by Aaron Dunn. So Bates is in the start line there by the looks of it.
Yes.
Big ride on by Nathan. Nathan Thompson says big ride on with a big double thumbs up. And Nadsy just said the bros yield. So he's ready to. Looks like he's revved up, Nadsy. He's excited. So TikTok game on by Steve. Steve Down has said game on. So Looks like we're going to have a hotly contested start here. It looks like Hassan straight out of the blocks here, and Hassan usually quite fast finisher. It looks like he's going to do a bit of a fast start here now.
He's one of the guys up for the wildcard nomination. You can go over and vote for him tonight. I also see one of the Zwift employees out there. One of my colleagues, Matt Antonio, is out racing the eCrit this morning as well, and he's a guy to behold because he is a unit. He is massive. Huckerby, of course, is out here. You saw Ben Hill, Ollie Jones, Anthony Vegan, Porsche. Everyone has showed up today. Bernie, if you think back to the race you raced, who was the strongest of that race? Not from WP TAS. I know you guys have your support.
I think it was Anthony Porsche. He was pretty strong, and I think obviously the guy who's not in contention for the overall Ollie Jones was very strong. He was always off the front and just always around the front or off the front pretty much.
So what do you think about this whole eCrit race format, that you can actually show what you can do on an online platform without ever leaving your house?
Yeah, it's great. Like I started using Zwift last year just to try and get fit for a few races, and there wasn't anything like this around really. So obviously this has taken off massively, and a lot more people are getting involved, and I think it's great for fitness, but it's great for viewing, and it's just exciting to watch.
Exciting to watch. Yeah, so tonight is the final round of the eCrit. After this, there's no more preliminary rounds. We've only got the live eRacing finale. All the spots by points are all guaranteed, so no riders can be disqualified, no riders can be upgraded. Wes, what's that going to mean for the racing tonight?
Well, that's going to mean that these guys are just going to take it on like they have every other week and really just race at full gas. And we see Ollie Jones off the front here now, beating at some biscuits, as Bernie said earlier. He's not leaving any biscuits a chance. He's in the cookie jar right now and opening things up. So we're going to see that the usual sort of suspects, light it up like this, and this is going to cause the bunch to react a little bit. And hopefully we'd see someone like, that these other riders are secure now. So like someone like Pat Shaw, who used to sort of be a little bit more active and like to sort of do those flyers and attacks and soften the riders up. Now that he's, these riders are locked in, they probably won't leave anything to chance to actually get out there and make this racing probably a little bit more difficult for everyone.
I don't think Pat Shaw's on the start line tonight. He may have taken the approach of taking a week off because he's racing the finale next week, so he might just be resting tonight.
Freshen up for the big one.
Yeah, I mean, is that smart, guys? You're the pro racers. I'm just the analyst.
Well, it's a fair way out still. It's next Saturday, so yeah, I think it's probably a bit early to be freshening up, to be honest. But
tape it is too. There you go. Bernie's called it. Tape it too early there, Pat Shaw. So Pat Shaw, if you tune in and listening, you tape it a bit early. It is only 1 hour of power usually the eCrit, so he's taped a little bit early. But Pat Shaw, I think, has had some a little bit of sickness as well. He does have a couple of kids, so that's sort of inevitable that he'll pick up a little bit of a flu or a bug. So he may be resting because he's not feeling 100% and sort of saving those biscuits, as we said earlier.
Somebody save this clip for when Pat Shaw doesn't win the finale Saturday next week, where Bernie can go, "I told you so, Pat. You rested too early."
He's a pretty experienced bike rider, Pat, so I'm pretty sure there's a madness to his, there's a method to his madness, probably, I reckon. Oh, the 1K attacks, yeah, we've all seen them. I'm just glad I've never felt it, so all respect.
Yeah.
Wes, we see Jono Bates here is on the start line tonight. For the people of the Eastern eCrit, they're not so familiar to Jono. Who is Mr. Jono Bates?
So Jono Bates, when I first started broadcasting with you, Jasper, he's asked me to do a little bit of research and background, so I went through all of the list of the riders that were placing the points. Jono was quite low down the rankings, sort of in about 15th place or just outside of top 15. Did a little bit of a Facebook stalk and saw that he's getting back into his racing again. He actually then had some troubles with a broken arm at the start of the season and things. And he's just really got involved in this racing, and it's just really lifted him up. And he's from that first stream chatting about Jono to now we see two completely different riders. Jono's activating the race. He's going in breakaways. He's going for the sprints and in the finals. So And he said that, that this Zwift racing has just sort of rekindled his spirits with cycling. So it's pretty cool to hear those sorts of stories.
Bernie, how do you feel about your brother's new job? Makes him go stalk people on Facebook, on Zwift Mobile Link About. Do you feel safe?
Yeah, well, he's obviously
he's for a good cause.
He's fit into the role well, I think. No, he's doing a great job, and it's just it's good to be a part of.
Good to be a part of. We got Linton Savatsky out on course as well. So despite everybody being qualified, there's still, well, let's say positions up for grabs, because West doesn't matter for these guys whether they finished first, second, or third, or are they just happy to be qualified for the finale?
I think that obviously they'd be happy to be qualified, but still they'd like to show a bit of dominance coming into the final, that stamp their authority on it. And then those other riders, that are hashtag wildcards, that will be looking to show themselves, that we may see some fire hose reeled out. There's going to be a little bit of action. I reckon these riders that really want to make sure that they are known wildcards. So we'll probably see fireworks from those guys.
From the wildcard selection, I only think it's Damu Hassan and Jono Bates who are actually on the start line tonight. I don't see Nazi, I don't see Cook, I don't see Ciano. Maybe Mick Polymere is on the course. I did see, Polly's out on course as well. So we got 3 of the wildcard selections here. What do you have to say about that, Wes?
So Nadzi not on the start line tonight. So Nadzi's taking a bold strategy there. Probably has good reason. He's probably on shift tonight at the fire brigade because he has already taken the time off, ready for the eCrit. Whether he's racing as a wild card or not, Nadzi is committed to go to the eCrit, and he's asking if Ben Grender is going to pull on the Wolfpack colours as well. So Ben Grender has raced in Belgium, local racer here in Launceston, and so Nadzi putting a bit of a shout out for Ben Grender to get involved in the racing.
Oh, everybody's gonna love Nazi's big mouth. It's one of his best attributes, along with being an aggressive rider. The man's got flair. So we're about 6 kilometers into the race tonight. We're doing 43 kilometers on the London course. We've got about 50 riders in the start pen tonight. A bit fewer than we usually see, but that's maybe because tonight is the final stage of the eCrit, which is it's sad it's coming to an end. Because Wes, what's next after this? You and me, are we done?
Oh well, I hope not, mate. Hopefully we can find something else to cover in the future. I'm sure there's still going to be a lot of other things happening on Zwift, and right now also we see Ollie Jones, who's still part of that thing happening, which is the Zwift Academy. So that was still got a couple more weeks to run on that. 6 weeks, I'm pretty sure that's over. So I think we're down to the first week now. So that's still got another 5 weeks to run. So I may get involved also with that, doing some group rides. As the leader for that ride, so yeah, I'll be still around Jesper, and I'm sure we can catch up.
What about you, Bernie? Are you part of Zwift Academy?
No, I'm not.
Shame on you, Bernie.
No, I'm retired, so yeah, I'm just here for a bit of fun, really.
I'm sure you could win the under 23 contract. You look as young as ever, man.
No. Not at my current fitness, I don't think. No way. Ollie Jones would absolutely smoke me.
What do you think of the whole concept of being able to train on your bike for a pro contract?
Oh, I think it's great. It's getting more people motivated and involved in cycling, and it's just a different aspect of looking at cycling as well. Like it's just another arrow you can use, and I think it's way of the future. Yeah, I think it's great for everyone, of the young guys who may be working or have, I don't know, something like classes or something to go to, and they can't get on the bike. So yeah, it's great that they're going ahead and doing it.
If you went back 10 years in time, would you have focused all your strength on something like this if you wanted to get your pro shot?
It's hard. It's a big call that to focus everything on this, but the way it's going, I think it's only getting bigger and better. Obviously, you still need to go out the road and get the wind in your hair, so to speak, and feel the real racing. But this is a great kind of kickstart, I'd say, if you were getting into cycling and looking to go down that road.
So if you're watching over on Facebook and you don't know what's going on, Zwift Academy has just launched on Zwift actually, but for both the men's and the women's by Dimension Data and Canyon SRAM, and you can still sign up and be a part of this community until the 15th of September, where you get great workouts by Train Sharp. You actually get to donate a tenth of a bike to the Quebec charity, or if you're a woman, you get a chance to win a pro contract with Canyon SRAM. That's pretty neat. Leah did pretty well this year. She took over our Instagram on Go Zwift on like last Wednesday, I think it is. So go look up that if you want to see what it's like to be a pro female racer. Wes, we see Birdie's on the attack. What's Birdie doing today?
Birdie looks like he's following this move here, trying to get in the slipstream of Ollie, and Ollie isn't really rating that Birdie's going with him here. I think he wants to sort of stamp his authority that he wants to go solo in this move. So Birdie doing a really good effort, and Birdie is the last couple of rounds upped his FTP power and his max for his threshold for his heart rate too. So Birdie is really starting to step it up in this eCrit, and he hasn't quite got in the slipstream of Ollie Jones there, but that is nothing to feel disheartened about, because Ollie Jones is just ripping those pedals out there. So hopefully Birdie can step in the slipstream of this other rider coming through here now on the Tron bike. No, it looks like he's going to go straight round.
So the rider coming right through him is Wu from China, who races for Innovation Cycling, who's actually a legit young guy from China who races outdoor as well as indoor, and looks like he's taken up the eCrit this morning, and he's another rider to look out for. And it's kind of fun seeing the pedestrians waking up this early to race with the best of Australia, because you guys know this better than I do. The time zones, it really doesn't really mesh with the rest of the world where you guys live. It can be tough to find a good level playing field. But Birdie, what's your opinion on power-ups on Zwift? Because we're in the KISS eCrit where everything is allowed.
Yeah, I think it makes it more interesting with using your power-ups. I think it's fine, but it does make an advantage obviously at the end of the sprint. Where I could maybe in the future they might have a series without them. I don't know. Like that could be something different, but I don't see a problem with it. I think they're there to be used, I reckon.
Do you feel the same way when you get an experience power-up just before the final sprint?
Yeah, I reckon.
It all goes towards that Tron, so it's all worth it.
Oh man, do either of you have the Tron bike yet on Zwift?
Yeah, I've got it. We've got the Tron bike. Yeah,
you do.
Nancy's a pretty big fan of it. But I haven't used it much at all, really, to be honest. I've just stick with the standard Trek or a Canyon or whatever.
So to unlock the Tron bike, you actually have to climb 50,000 meters of altitude on Zwift. That's crazy, Bernie.
Yeah, it's a fair bit. Yeah, but if you're on a lot, and it's not hard to do. Sorry, that if you're on Zwift like every second day or every third day, I suppose really.
Do you ride for like 6 hours a day on Zwift?
Not now, but I used to.
I was riding a lot.
Yeah, I was riding.
I think you went 1 month, wasn't it, without riding outdoors?
Probably did. I went a month there without riding outdoors at all, just for the weather, and I was just getting so into it as well. The racing, I was probably doing a lot more racing than I previously should have. My coaches actually asked me to probably step outside because I can see all my data that was all indoors. You probably want to step outside. But then I said, yeah, but have you checked the data? And I'm like, yeah, well, no, the data's good, but you still need to head outside. But that's the thing with Zwift. It's so addictive when you first get on. And the racing is so hard. Like the 100K races that Wes and I did, we're averaging nearly like 5 watts a kilo in some of them for the whole race. So, and that really brought my form up towards the end of the season for Tour of Tassie and a race in China that I did.
Do you remember that, Wes? Go outside? The 1 month you actually coached me as part of Circle of Death, when you went, Jesper, I didn't think you were going to do all your workouts on Zwift, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, I planned for you to do some of them outside, but you were doing some of these 2.5 hour, 3 hour rides.
3 hours?
Yeah,
3 hours. That's big.
Yeah.
But it all worked out as well.
It all worked out pretty well in the end for you, Jasper. You left your compatriots behind on the day, didn't you?
Yeah. And now that you work for Zwift, next time around there's a company trip to the Alps, I can leave you in the dust, Wes. I'm sure that's definitely something that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to make sure I start following through with some of these plans I'm writing up and write one up for myself at the same time.
I mean, I know a perfect coach if you want to get informed, so it's okay, Wes. I can hook you up. Don't worry, I got the connections. On course right now, we see Jeffrey Keel as another rider who is actually racing today, and it's really a shame, Wes, because Jeff was probably one of the guys who was going to have the biggest shot of beating Pat Shaw in the live finale, but due to family commitments, due to, not taking any more time off, he decided to skip the finale. Do you think that's a good choice?
Oh, well, that's a choice for him to make there. Obviously, if you've got family commitments and prior commitments, then that comes priority. So, and I don't think anyone feels any differently for him not to take part in the final. That's his call to make. But there are plenty other people that are lined up to make it. And we're just getting a couple of other comments from Nadsy, who's not racing tonight, but he's definitely watching the stream. He said that Badger, okay, Bernie here next to me, had no fan for 12 months as well. So
what?
He was getting quite light, I think, as well. He's doing some what do you call it? Almost like sauna sessions on the ergo.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why. To be honest, each week I'd say I'm going to get a fan next week. Nadsy is like, hey, you haven't got a fan yet. I'm like, nah, I'll get one. And then it just kind of dragged out, and I had some serious sweat in the garage going on. There was a lot of.
I think, and you live probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes from a Bunnings.
Yeah, it wasn't far to go and get a fan, but it just took me a while to get around to actually doing it. So it was a big advantage actually. Once
How much weight did you lose each session? You must have lost like kilos.
Yeah, at least in the 100K ones. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 kilo minimum.
Crazy.
Which is, it's like, it does make a difference with a good fan.
That's the same as doing like a Grand Tour stage if you're losing like 2 to 3 kilo.
Yeah. So not for
So you're saying if you want to become a pro rider, just ride Zwift without a fan. Is that what you're saying, Wes?
I'm not recommending or condoning it, but that's what he was doing effectively. We've got a comment now across on the page saying that Dunn is paying $1.34 for the live event.
$1.
And that was by Dunn.
Oh wait, Dunn. He's another character who's racing tonight as well. Dunn has raced every single race, I think. I don't think he's missed a single one. That's crazy.
That's a big effort.
Yeah, that's commitment there. So Dunn, and also with that, he hasn't missed any races, but he's been doing other events and races on Zwift as well.
Yeah. And he's actually been competitive. He's not just like, waddle along.
Yeah. Yep. So, it's really good to see that Dunn is, and that's what it is also, just what you said before, it is a community and people, like to connect on here and follow up from there on, and make friendships via Zwift. So it's pretty cool to see this community grow here in Australia, especially how strong it is. He was saying like everyone likes to really sort of chat it out after the racing and know that they're part of something pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody, once the race is over, they'll start talking about how somebody didn't work together, or maybe that attack was a bit stupid, or just, friendly banter like you would see in a real life race. And that's only in Australia that this happens, which is, it's something different, and it's really cool to have been a part of this for the last 5 months. And I can't wait to put a face to all these incredible Watts machines in Australia on the 23rd of September. Between 5 and 10, I think it is. Our evening is going to unfold at Rapha Melbourne. So free food, free drinks, free company. It's going to be good fun. Also, we're going to have a women's event. Right, Wes? We're going to have something for the ladies. What's happening?
Yep, having a women's event. So the women's event will be knockout rounds, like a comm challenge. So you'll be able to come in, make sure you bring your bike shoes along. And if you're on any special sorts of pedals or anything, then bring your pedals with you maybe as well. Obviously, we'll have some standards there with Shimano pedals. But if you're on something different, then probably bring your pedals along with you. And you can battle it out for a knockout sort of rounds, sort of like what we've had at the Zwift parties in the past, Jesper, where you can battle it out for the Queen of the Mountain. So it'll be the QM of the Mountain challenge for the women.
It's a 2-minute effort up the Watopia forward hill, Bernie, how would you pace that? If you have a 2-minute effort, which is essentially a 1 kilometer climb, how do you tackle such an effort?
A 2-minute climb. Well, yes, that's obviously not that long, so you want to go reasonably hard at the bottom still, but obviously just your threshold. So don't blow yourself at the bottom, but still hold a steady pace to the top. I think I did the actual race today, the London Loop, and that hill's obviously Fox Hill is pretty hard. I actually got dropped up there the last lap. Guy he just rode off with K to go. So obviously, but yeah, that hill you can still go at a solid tempo at the bottom, and if you're fit enough, you could hold it to the top.
I think the fastest time I've ever seen on that hill was Shane Miller, GP Lama, at a 1:28, I think. He's actually made this on video, and he held about 700 absolute watts all the way to the top. So the Lama has got some power on him.
That's good effort.
That's solid.
I don't know what I've done up there, but it's nowhere near that, I don't think. Yeah.
I think we're getting some comments now from Nazi, whose wife Nareem will also be racing the Queen of the Mountain Challenge. So she's pretty G'd up for it, Nazi said. So we'll be ready to cheer her on.
Ooh, I like to see that. So now, this is a question to you, Nazi. Who's the stronger cyclist in your household? Who dictates the pace when you're out for coffee rides? Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there with that. We'll get a response back to that. I wonder whether it'll be Nazi or Noreen commenting back. That'll be interesting.
What about the Mrs. Salzberger? I assume you're both married. Is your better half also interested in cycling?
Well, Bernie can give you a bit of a rundown on Katie. His wife has really been involved in Zwift. I haven't got Shannon across to it yet. Max is really keen. We just can't get him to touch the pedals on my bike yet. Otherwise, he'd be on there. But yeah, Bernie will give us a little bit of insight into Katie's experience with Zwift.
Well, actually, yeah, brought her. She used to do a fair bit of running when I was overseas cycling. So I actually brought her a treadmill, and then started using that. And then I said, "Oh, you probably want to jump on this Zwift," and because I just started using it, and she's like, "Oh, no, I'm not interested." And I just week after week, I just kept telling her to get on and just try it because I thought she would like it. And yeah, got her a mountain bike, which was I think her brother's mountain bike, and it was only running on a 5-speed. That's
Can you put an 11-speed chain on it?
Yeah, I put an 11-speed chain on it, and somehow worked out, got it going, and then she actually did like it. So then I went, stuff it. I went and just brought her a bike, like an actual giant bike, and yeah, she's actually been riding on it a fair bit for a while. She hasn't done as much lately, but she got really into it, and the group rides and stuff like that. She's actually never been out the road yet.
Really?
No, she actually hasn't ridden that bike that I got her on the road. She's only been on Zwift, for 12 months.
To be fair, it is the safest place to be in the cycling world.
Yeah, exactly. She's a bit nervous with cars and stuff like that, and we live on a gravel driveway, which is 500 meters as well. So she doesn't really want to go down the gravel driveway. Then, so yeah, it's just Zwift has been great just for her for doing a bit of fitness and actually enjoying some group rides. Once you do a few group rides, she didn't want to do any group rides to start with.
And did you sneakily enter in one as well?
Yeah, I did actually when she was on there, and she didn't know what was going on. She just popped up and she was on the start line. She actually didn't know. So then she did that first one, didn't want to do it, and then she's like, "Oh, yeah, that was actually really good." And then you get hooked, and you just want to do group rides in because it's obviously more fun. So yeah, she really enjoyed it, and still does.
You know, Bernie, you're a genius because I did the exact same thing to my sister, but it was not a group ride, it was a race. She asked, "Can I borrow your Zwift?" I'm like, "Yeah, get on." And I entered into a race on the Richmond, the 3 hills. And I have this on video. She was so pissed. So it's good fun, though. It's good fun. She liked it. In the meanwhile, we're talking about everything. John O'Bates actually tried to put an attack off the front. I feel like we're doing him a disservice here because he's in the fight for the wildcard spot. He attacked off the front in the Eastern broadcast where we're talking about 5-speed cassettes and sisters racing on Richmond. John O'Bates is trying to make the best out of his limelight and trying to get those wildcard votes over on the KISS Road Race page. Polls close tomorrow. Make sure to get your vote in because for these guys, it can matter a lot because there's actually a free trip. First of all, it's a free trip to Melbourne, and then it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to race in front of a live audience, and also technically on TV. So for a guy like Dunn, Ockerby, how much does this mean to them, Wes?
Oh, they're all really excited about it, and yeah, that's why they seem to keep racing every week. You know, Dunn, I think you said, has raced every single eCrit, and since Ockerby's come on board racing it, I don't think he's missed any either. So, you know, these riders are excited to take part in this event, and they're super excited for the finale at the Rapha Clubhouse in Melbourne on the 23rd. So that's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. So yeah, make sure you do come along if you're available, if you're in Melbourne. Or planning to be in Melbourne, then yeah, definitely come along. So it'll be from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we will have a women's event there also, the Queen of the Mountain Challenge, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But no, it's going to be a pretty awesome event, and everyone's taking part. You know, John O'Bates is definitely, you know, a rider that should be racing. You know, as a wild card. You know, every one of these riders. That have raced throughout this series, you know, have deserved that chance. So I think that's, yeah, it's a pretty good opportunity for these riders, like you said, to come to a head and race. You know, what would you almost call it? The Australia's best virtual rider, I guess, is almost it, isn't it? Because we've got the best sort of thing going on with the junior, sort of in the junior ranks of under 23, and for this, I guess you call this Australia's best virtual rider, I guess this competition pretty much is in a nutshell.
Virtual rider? You sure about that? I'm pretty sure all these riders that are racing out on course right now are putting out real efforts. So you don't need to turn.
Yeah, they are definitely putting out real efforts, but the racing is virtual, so that's what I was meaning by there, virtual racer. So yeah.
Okay, if you just watched the broadcast and you saw it go black for a second, that's because I just had to fix the choppiness. I didn't realize. I have been trying to subtly try to fix it, but now we fixed it, so don't worry. Keep your pitchforks back. The racing is now back to smooth and crisp quality thanks to our production manager, Johnny Noplet. So at the front, we've got Riley Fleming, I think that is, with an aero power-up. Actually, no, it is Johnson West. 20 kilometers to go, popping an aero power-up at this point. Or I guess even Bernie. Is this smart?
Well, it's probably a bit premature, to be honest, I think. But if he's going, yeah, maybe just save the legs, I don't know. Like, it's, yeah, you might be trying to get a featherweight for the climb, maybe. I don't know, yeah. But, yeah, or he might have just bumped it accidentally. I've done that before. It's easy to do.
So, wait, so how did you do it accidentally? Because we all know how Dunn did it, but how did you do it?
Yeah, I just had my my towel, and obviously your towel's wet, and I've wiped my brow with it and then thrown it and just hit the phone and bang. But, yeah, it went. I was like, oh no.
The question is, did you go with it? Did you attack with it?
don't think I could at the time.
Just made use of it. Well, that makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
I think we need to induct you into the power-up anonymous, you know. Hi, my name is Birdie, and I pop power-ups accidentally. It's a bad habit, but...
So we're seeing, talking about young riders, we're seeing Rob Dog in there amongst it tonight from the Wolfpack Taz guys. So Rob Dog is under 19 rider, so it's good to see him getting amongst this action. And he looks like he's riding on there at a nice sort of cadence, and his heart rate's around that 160, so he's still got plenty of beats to play with there, so good to see him involved.
Can you say 19 again?
19?
19? There's something about the Aussie way of, you know, the English language is just awesome. I mean, there's just certain things like dimension data, words like that. It just makes it fun.
Yeah, it's good. We don't like to open our mouths too wide. We've got to keep the flies out. That's apparently how we got our accent.
Oh, it's too much. It's too good. I'm glad the Danish humor and the Australian humor meshes so well. Otherwise, Wes and I would hate each other for the last 3 months.
Yeah, I think you've put it out there for me wanting to visit the Danish land now. So I really want to make the trip across to make sure that everyone is like Jasper. I think that all Danish people are awesome, but maybe it's just Jasper.
Just remember to bring an umbrella, a raincoat, long socks, because it's gonna get wet, and it's gonna get cold, and it's gonna get windy. Other than that, it's a beautiful country.
It sounds like we're home. It sounds like Tasmania has some of the same elements. We've got a few seasons in one day during the winter season, but in summer it gets quite nice. Yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna stay away. I mean, Wes saying you should come to Tasmania. I think I'd rather just go home, Wes.
Oh, come on, mate. Don't be like that. So Linton here, we're getting a few shout-outs for Linton as well. Give Linton a bit of coverage
He's
in the
on screen
cast. So
right
Linton
now, Savatsky.
on screen right now. So he's sitting a nice high cadence there at 95, 96 RPM and 160 heart rate. So he's got plenty to play with there also. So we'll probably see Linton sort of feature in there tonight and make sure that he's up amongst the front of this bunch, which looks like he seems to be sitting up there now, close to the front.
Bernie, are you also obsessed with cadence like Wes is? That washing machine cadence?
Yeah, well, I started off when I first started back using it. Zwift, I noticed I was down like to 80. And yeah, for even the races, and now I'm getting fitter. I'm using that around the 100. And definitely, I think it's good. You got to keep a high cadence, and then I find not everyone, like I think Jones, maybe his cadence is a bit lower, but he's a bigger guy, he's stronger. But smaller guys need a higher cadence, and so they can just bang in a big gear later on in the race.
Nice. We're watching Savatsky do that now at 100 RPM. Savatsky, known as the sprinter of the bunch. Ockerby and Savatsky are currently sitting second and third place in the overall standings, and there's 6 points differentiating them in the overall standings right now. So if Savatsky takes first place and Ockerby doesn't make top 6, I could see Savatsky go up into second place. But Wes, what's the likelihood of Ockerby not making top 6 tonight?
Well, he hasn't. I know that Ockerby's been a little bit under the weather with the flu, so his form is probably not quite as sharp as what it has been. But saying that, Ockerby is a born racer, so when he takes on a race, he'll take it all on. So even with him not being on true form, I think he would still finish definitely inside that top 6. As long as he doesn't have a mishap with the towel or a droplet of sweat using up his power up, he should be right.
We'll see though, because there's a bunch of racers out here that got nothing to lose tonight. This is the last round of the eCrit. Basically give it all or nothing. It's your last time for that 5 seconds of fame, going underneath that finish line, sipping up the jersey, raising your 2 arms in the air, and taking that win. And for some riders, there's only one way to do that, and that's a Hail Mary attack. We saw A-Lift do it a while back, where I think if he had waited just 10 more seconds, he would have won that round. Now somebody can learn from that. Maybe we'll see Anthony, we'll see Demo Hassan, John O'Bates try to do something similar tonight, as Aaron Dunn is actually going on to the attack now. Not sure what's happening here.
Aaron Dunn. So Aaron Dunn sort of, I don't know whether he's sort of trying to suss out, whether he can get a couple other guys to go with him, but I'm not quite sure what his strategy is. Obviously, Dunn is quite a fast finisher, but maybe he's wanting to up that pace a little bit here and sort of sort out the riders for Ockerby to come to a sprint. I'm not sure. He's sort of funny for him to encourage the move.
Bernie, is WP Task the Sky of Zwift? I see your numbers out on course. I see the strength, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, they're obviously they've been pretty dominant in this series, so it's just great to see. Really, obviously, come from Tassie and Nazzie's probably the director, as you could say. He's leading the Wolf pack. I think he actually started it.
Yeah.
So he's
one of the instigators.
He's one of the instigators who's really kicked it off, and it's just grown and grown, which is great to see.
He's the conductor, but I mean, what are you guys feeding them for breakfast? I mean, you got Dunn, Ockerby, A-Lift, Dog in here, Nazi. I mean, what?
Yeah, no, it's funny. For Tasmania, we only have a population of 500,000. But the actual island, if you drag the island across Europe, it's quite a lot larger in size than Belgium or somewhere like that. So we do punch above our weight, and they do always say that there's something in the water down here in Tasmania.
Obviously, West failed geography because you can't just drag a country to another place. I mean, come on, West. We all know that. Come on. It might be late. I think there's also free booze in the place. I know.
Yeah. We have some good beers as well, I've told you about as well. So.
I'm not sure about that. Last time I was in Melbourne, that was quite an eye-opener to see the assortment you guys have available. But that's a talk for another day. That's actually a talk for the 23rd of September when it's night and you guys can come down and we can have that chat in person and we can do some wine tasting with Wes and we can be posh. I even think Pat Shaw would get involved in that because he likes his wine. We got JJ, another newcomer to the race, off the front again here. So 14Ks to go now.
We saw JJ feature a couple of weeks back. I'm pretty sure he went with a few moves actually with Jones off the front, so he's quite strong.
He is actually one of the guys who's been featuring lately, but he's still not. He hasn't found a way to race just yet on Zwift. It feels like he aimlessly in the dark just starts firing his gun, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see if he's got his pistol loaded correctly tonight. We see Craig Watson is on the left. He's one of the riders that's qualified. We actually haven't run through the entire list of riders who qualified from the Eastern Division just yet. So I think we owe them that, as they've been racing for about 5 months straight. So Aaron Dunn, currently in first place. Luke Ockerby, second place. Linton Savatsky, third place. Anthony Vegan Porsche, fourth. Craig Watson, fifth. And Pat Shaw, sixth from the East. From the West, if you want to hear all about that, you got to tune in about an hour over on Zwift Community Live, where we got the Western broadcast with some of the strongest guys from, that is Perth, West Australia?
Yeah, it's Perth. So Perth time zone, so the 2 hours difference in time zone there. So yeah, the Perth, we actually are having some races that the time doesn't suit to race at 7 o'clock because of family commitments. So yeah, Ben Simpson, who's actually winning that series, is actually from Sydney, so he's not from Western Australia, but the time works out better for him. I know that his wife has raced the Eastern eCrit for timing, and he usually always rocks up for the 9 o'clock. We are getting a comment now from Zoltan saying hi all, so hi Zoltan, thanks for joining in. And for those people, Jasper, that don't know what's happening here, how are these little avatars on the screen powered?
Well, let's have Jiminy Cricket explain you exactly what's happening here then. So you're watching Zwift right now on the screen. Zwift is a virtual training platform where you hook your bike up to an indoor trainer. You can even have a stationary bike, and then that transmits data onto your computer, onto your iOS, maybe you have an iPad device. And then as you ride your bike, it transmits the power, the speed, the cadence, the heart rate, everything onto the game. And you're essentially powering a virtual avatar with real life efforts. And it's really addictive, it's really fun. It's not a gimmick. I mean, the way I explain it, it could sound like a gimmick, but it's actually a true workout regime. Bernie, is this better than spin class?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's way better than spin class. You're actually, you can get involved like doing racing like this, or you can just do your own thing, cruise around, do some hills. Yeah, it's very addictive once you start on it. Obviously, you get hooked and you're getting fit while doing it, which is great.
As a spin class instructor, or previously a spin class instructor, Wes, what do you think?
I think there's definitely has a lot to offer. There's workouts as well in it now. You can be, even if you're not in the under 23 category, you can jump in and do something like the academy, Zwift Academy for the men, and that really gives you that opportunity to see some structured training, and that could pull some people into wanting to follow up with some actual racing on Zwift as well. So yeah, it's all around. You've got everything covered.
And also the social aspect of this is all happening online in real time. What you see on the screen, if you have a smart trainer, is what you feel in the legs. You can text, you can type. In the future, you can probably chat to each other as well via voice chat. So the social aspect of Zwift is cool. I mean, it's the way we've come together via Zwift, and we're not the only ones. I mean, WP Taz, probably prior to Zwift, probably didn't know each other as well. Vision, the team I'm a part of. It's just fun to see how virtual cycling can unite people from around the world with the same passion, and Zwift is a good company. It's a good program.
Yeah, so with the Wolfpack Taz, that was just a Facebook Messenger group that I started and joined up. Myself, Bernie, Nadsy. We've had likes of Will Clark, Richie Port added to the group as well, and that was just sort of a platform for us when we were back racing. From racing, overseas, coming back, and we'd get the young guys to come train with us. We see Rob Dog in here, Robbie Parker, to get them out and get them amongst it. So it's cool to see that the Wolfpack Taz has developed from there, and Nadsy made it into a Zwift team. So it's pretty cool.
So when Richie Port wins the tour next year, you two are going to take all the fame and glory for training Richie.
Yeah, no, I think Richie was training us when we'd tag along to his rides. He certainly liked to crunch the pace up. But yeah, it's good fun. These young riders have the opportunity to go riding with riders like that. Down here in Tassie.
It's a noble course of you guys. It's cool. Probably you also got a bit of the lay down on some of the newest talents. You can get them on your team instead of having another team snack them up.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's a good thing to be part of this community. So they can get poached by some of these other teams. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And like Pat Shaw's team, which he was part of beforehand with ISOWay, that's probably one of the strongest. You've got the AOS development team, which I could come through, and then you've got Andrew Christie Johnson runs the ISOWay team. They're the two main platforms. So a lot of the riders, if they're not going through the AOS system, which now is in a bit of a flux with the road sort of scene of how it's structured, it's more structured towards a track cycling. So now your sole sort of driver is Andrew Christie Johnson in that ISOWay team, where you can have that opportunity to race over in Europe and step it up like Ollie Jones is doing now. So Pat did say he was interested in helping Ollie get on ISOWay until he started dropping in Zwift races.
Oh, can you imagine being this close to being on a pro team, but you actually hurt Pat's ego? Love you, Pat, but that's funny. Oh, God. Ollie Jones' attack has drawn out Ockerby from the pack. He is now chasing it down on the front, just keeping the gap within 2 seconds as we got done working there in the back. Anthony Vegan Porsche. Anthony is an interesting entity because he's been so up and down in this race. He's raced since like day one, where he used to get top threes, and he got tougher, and he had some, had some spells where it was really tough to get motivated. Now he's back into it, and I know he's really excited for that live finale, and he's doing everything to drop weight. Like this is like they're preparing for a grand tour. You guys probably know this better than anyone else. You're trying to shred weight going into a grand tour. They're doing that, but for Saturday next week, they're trying to be as light as possible for the weigh-in.
Yeah, because they do have that weigh-in. So, but also, it's fine to lose that weight, but you need to hold that power as well. So it's not all just about the weight. Also, you want to make sure that you're holding power as well. It was cool to catch up with Anthony at the other Zwift event that we had in Melbourne. That I come across for. He was a super nice guy and was super competitive. So we actually went out for a ride the next day after the Zwift party. You probably don't remember that because you were still a bit under the weather from the big night you had, and it wasn't very long into the ride that me and Anthony said sayonara to Jesper, and I think Jesper went back to the hotel.
When we say the Australians are very competitive, guys, there's no waiting around. Even on group rides, we're going up a slight incline. I was feeling a bit under the weather. Suddenly, Anthony, Wes, everybody else just goes off the front. I'm like, hi guys, I'll just turn around. I love you guys. That's so good fun. I still have good memories from that, and I hope we get to do some more riding in September.
We did pull over at the top.
Yeah, but I was so far back. I had to call like an Uber almost to get back home. That's how bad it was. Nobody to blame but myself, but it's still a fun story to tell now that it's behind us. Is he like that with you as well, Bernie, when you go on group rides, or do you drop Wes?
No, we sometimes we've had some rides where guys, obviously struggling, and I do remember poor old Nancy might have been struggling one ride around the Scottsdale Loop, the famous Scottsdale Loop, which is Richie Port's favourite loop. Nancy, he was in a state of bother, probably 20k out from when we got back, and we're waiting at the top of the hill for a long time. He'd used all his biscuits for sure. He had none left. He just made it home, he said. But it's all in good fun, and we always wait for the last rider.
I'm sorry, Nancy. We're airing your dirty laundry right here. I mean, when you want that wild card, you've got to be prepared for the worst, Nancy. Comes with it.
No, Nancy's not one to be afraid, and he's first to step up and show all his cards on the table. So that's what everyone sort of likes about Nadsy. We see Alif up the front here now, so rocking. Looks like the riders aren't rocking all of that Aero hairstyle there. I can't make that out. Does that looks like the Aero hairstyle at the moment?
The David Beckham hairstyle.
Yeah, it is. So it looks like we were trying to get everyone on the Wolfpack crew to use that same sort of hairstyle. It was sort of an unwritten rule of the team. So it looks like Nadsy pulled sort of rank on that, and I think it's paying off, because I think he's got a good slipstream there with that now on the front, so he's breaking the wind for the other riders here. So good to see Tom Ayliffe up and amongst it here at the front.
Is WP TAS a dictatorship or a democracy? What's going on here? Sounds like Nazis just pulling all the strings.
No, not all these riders are puppets. You know, they still get amongst this and do a bit of their own pacing and decide what to do. But certainly, you know, there is objectives there of the team, and everyone's all for it. So it's all good.
10 kilometers to go in the race tonight. They raced for about 50 minutes. I think they'll finish in about 50 minutes time, or 50 total minutes out on course. It's going to be a fast-paced finish now. It's just been slowing down. Without Pat Shaw tonight, it's been a bit lackluster off the front, with only Ollie Jones trying to light it up. We're missing Pat Shaw and his endless brain of just fireworks and rockets and bazookas or whatever else he's got thrown away. Looks like not having him here tonight is really it's showing in the peloton tonight. But John O'Bates, Paulie, Hassan, they've all tried to get in some of the broadcast action tonight to try and win your wild card entry vote. There can only be one winner, and the poll closes tomorrow night, so make sure to get over to that Kiss Road Race page and get your vote in. So, we're almost at the end now, Bernie, and we've got the segment where we choose a winner. We're going to let you go first because you're the newcomer tonight. Out of this bunch, who do you think will cross that line in first position?
I'm going to go with Oku, but I'm probably just going to go with Dunn, actually, because I heard Okubi has been a little bit under the weather, and I'm going to go with Dunn, hopefully, for that Wolfpack TAS.
What about US?
I'm going to go with Hassan, Damien Hassan.
Why? Why Hassan?
Hassan, I reckon I haven't seen, you know, he's been up and amongst it, and I think hopefully we will have like a sort of one of those drag race sprints, which, you know, where someone goes early, which most likely will be Jones, and then that will cause everyone to sort of go early. And I'm thinking Hassan is sort of usually a pretty smart rider, would be one to sort of suck the wheels and then come past and use the aero power up at the right time.
I think we want to see JJ take the win tonight. With Pat Shaw not in here tonight, the overall pace has been a bit slower from a spectator's point of view, and I think that'll play into the hands of JJ, who's just got an endless amount of cookies to you, or biscuits, I guess is the right terminology. We'll see what JJ can do here tonight. I think he'd be one to go on the attack. Yeah,
it looks like JJ, obviously, you know, he's getting along in the bunch there. Okay, his heart rate's up there pretty high though right now. He's at 180 beats, so he's quite high, Jasper. Early on, yeah.
180 is relative, because for me personally, 180 is not even that high. Threshold zone is 190, so could be a young gun out on course. I'll have a look on Zwift Power.
Yeah, do a little bit of stalking there, and why I asked Bernie also that he's got a trainer at home for running that he might be able to get involved in the Zwift running. So you have a smart treadmill, is it?
Yeah. So I only just looked at this recently to get a dongle for my treadmill, which is Bluetooth, but the dongle, yeah, it's not cheap. I think it's about $150 to get a dongle. Obviously, earlier trainers on treadmills, do have that already built in. I think the dongle. So I'm going to look at that for my wife, because she does a fair bit of treadmill at this stage. So, and that'll be fun. I've seen obviously Steve Beckett. He does a fair bit of running on there. But yeah, obviously in the future there'll probably be group runners and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be cool to actually try it and see how it goes.
You're going to turn into a triathlete like Cameron Worth?
Yeah, Cameron Worth just got a big win in Wales the other day, so it was really cool to see him do that. So Cameron is also a Tasmanian. He's from the south, but don't hold that against him. We're up the north, but it was really cool to see Cam. He's a very dedicated athlete. I think that's his third sport. He's been rowing. He's been at the top level of that, professional cyclist. Now he's in the pro ranks, winning on the triathlon scene. So he's actually qualified, obviously, to do Hawaii Ironman, which is pretty cool, and I wish him all the best for that.
You know, you're joking about the South. I heard one of the eCrit guys jokingly saying, why are we allowing Tasmania into the Australian eCrit series? They're basically the New Zealand of Australia.
Yeah, we do dangle off the edge of Australia and do get forgotten about But we just want to make sure and bring our presence back that we are proud Australians, and that's why we will see a couple of those riders coming across from Tasmania over for the finale in Melbourne at the clubhouse in Rapha.
You know what?
So it looks like you got a bell there. Ding dong. You better ring it.
We're gonna throw this away today. We're not gonna use mine. As the last of the make-believe cowbell. There you go. Ah, that scratches. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize if you just had it on loudspeaker and we destroyed your speakers. But that means last lap out there on the eCrit tonight. The last lap of this year's KISS eCrit powered by Zwift Community Live. Wes, me, and Bernie tonight. It's been a pleasure racing and watching with all you guys out there. Thank you for tuning in. These are the final 5Ks of the 2017 Australian eCrit. Wes, do you want to share a tier or shred a tier?
No, because we are going to take this for another round, which we will get to, mingle with the riders before they take part in this eCrit finale at the clubhouse in Rapha. So not this weekend, but the coming weekend, the 23rd at the Rapha clubhouse. So yeah, make sure if you are in Melbourne or if you are not, to try and get across, because it will be a really good event. Going to be lots of fun. As
this is our last broadcast, I think this goes out to you, Wes. You are the MVP of the broadcast. You got this?
Mate, you brought that up for another stream another time. I thought you were Mr. Universe.
It's Mr. Universe, you know. It can only be one of us. But like
we've got a comment over here saying to Bernie, to run you just need a foot pod and your ant plus stick. So yes. There we go.
I'll have to get onto that.
Give it some stick, he said. That was from Darren Bramwell. So thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Darren.
I'm sure all you need is like a polar foot pot and an ant plus stick in your computer, and it records your distance, your feet travel every single time. It's somewhat easy to set up. Not that I've ever run, because I don't like running, guys. I'm on my bike.
So you're quite into running, aren't you? I remember having a chat to you about it.
No, not particularly. I mean, if I had to be a triathlete, I'd do the swimming and the cycling, and I'd just skip the running and I'd be done.
Yeah, I'd definitely skip the swimming and I'd just do the running and the riding. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we see Alif here at the front now. So Alif heading it up the front. It looks like, is that Dunn in behind him there? So the Wolfpack crew up around the front here.
Dunn is in the front. Now they're both somewhat, they're somewhat moving.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to come down here, Jasper? You think someone's going to take a flyer out of this small, it's quite a tight little bunch now.
Someone ought to take a flyer, but I think that because the pace has been a bit slower today, I'm saying this from a spectator's point of view, it could be totally wrong, but I think it's been a bit slower today. That means everybody's a bit more fresh, and they like their chances in a sprint. Somehow they're going to have to manage to beat Ockerby and Savatsky if that's the case, which is going to be damn near impossible. But I think that's what is going through JJ's, Hassan's, Anthony and Porsche's head. Right now it's more about survival, as Craig Watson actually took a flyer off the front as I'm saying that. But for most of the riders, it's about survival at this point. It's about getting to the finish line and giving it your all. But that's not how you win. That's how you finish top 10, but that's not how you win. You're not... Like, let's be honest, guys. You're not going to beat Savatsky and Ockerby in a heads-up sprint. That's like being Matty Heyman going up against Michael Matthews and Cal Ewan in a sprint. It had to be Paris-Roubaix, otherwise it won't happen. So, we'll see. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite difficult. We see Polly up here now also, who's featured in a couple of these races and gone with some of those attacks. So, these riders all look like they're up around the front here. No one wants to give each other any sort of distance here because everyone wants to make sure if someone does do a flyer, they can be straight on the wheel. So, seeing a lot of washing machines sort of happening here in the bunch now. So, we talked about that beforehand. So like the riders are moving up now and then some of the riders are getting shuffled back. Then you see the riders have to move up again. So it becomes that sort of a washing machine cycle. It looks like the pace has stepped up a little bit here.
Go JJ! Oh, I thought he was
going.
That was a shimmy.
Leg shake. But he was going to go, but then I think you would call him out. Now he's decided to do 600 little leg burst and back up to 500. So he's shaking it down here, seeing what's happening and sitting up again.
This is incredible. He's just going up to 9 watts per kilo and then down to 5, up to 9, down to 5, and I don't think it's going to work out for Jay. And JJ is actually a veteran, meaning he's about 30 years of age or older, so that little attack there is going to cost him now because he's further back in the pack. over the top here. It's all about continuance. You put in the effort on the climb. When you get to the flat part, that's when the break happens. This is where the peloton splits in two. So Anthony Vegan Porsche is in the right place. All further up the front, we've got Jay Thorpe. We've also got Craig Watson, Jay Aliff. It looks like we're going to have a sprint, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to come down to a sprint. So these riders, JJ's done a little bit of a bust up. Looks like JJ's going for a flyer now again. So he's trying again with that leg shake now. So
what's
looks
he
like
doing?
These other riders here, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure of his strategy there. So whether he's having some difficulties with his power or something, like whether it's having dropouts and he's cutting in and out. I mean, he really
he's
wants
firing
to
blanks right now. I mean, that gun needs servicing. This is not, I mean, he's obviously got the watts. Look at this again. 8 watts per kilo down, up to 8 and down. He's got the watts, but maybe it looks like he's just firing the gun in the wrong direction here. He's definitely not hitting the target with what he's doing there. But now it comes down to Don, Ogilvy, Savatsky. If anyone's going to beat them, they're going to have to go from 1K out, Wes.
They are. Am I seeing a green jersey in the bunch there? Is that a previous sprint jersey?
So I think that is Hassan at the front, who's actually got the fastest time of the sprint jersey. We've got an attack now. Who is this going off the front? That is Aliff. Tom Aliff trying to make it up from last time. This is WP Tass. This is the move, though, guys. This is the move. You have to go 1K out, pop that aero power up. But what is Aaron Dunn doing? We got WP Tass chasing down WP Tass in the front. Wes.
No, who's that? That wasn't Dunn going off the front over that. I think so. That wasn't
Hassan.
Dunn going over.
So you got Aliff in the front, Hassan second, Savatsky third, but Aliff has about a 200-meter gap here going into the final 700 meters. We're looking over the shoulder, 600 meters to go now. Tom is not letting up. He popped the arrow. This could be the day for WP Taz and Tom Aliff. But Mike Polymere further behind has got an aero power up. You can see over the shoulder. Look at the speed. Oh my goodness. Who's going to take this? I don't know who's going to be. You got Joe to the front. You've got Savatsky second wheel. And I think it's going to be Savatsky, Dunn, Pauly. Oh God.
Whoa, what a finish there. That was a great effort by Tom Aliff.
Tom Aliff. Well done.
That was a good. Well done, Tom.
I totally missed the button for over the shoulder, by the way, view. Cameraman once again.
Yeah, we'll have to get onto that cameraman. We'll find out who that cameraman is and we'll fix that for the finale. So we'll make sure that's all down pat. But what a finish you had there. That was really tight.
Wow, but Mike Polymere. So M. Pauly's actually up for the wildcard selection. So third place tonight was M. Pauly, who's currently sitting 7th place in the Eastern eCrit, which means he's just outside to be eligible to qualify for the finale. So if you liked what you saw today from him, go over and give him a vote for the wildcard. Did you see the speed at which the peloton caught Tom, the Aliff, in that sprint?
Yeah, it looked like, at the end there, it looked like that, he had it in the bag for sure. But the power that they come home with those power-ups, they come at him like 2-1.
Man. So the final results, Linton Savatsky wins in first place since Ollie Jones is not eligible because he's from New Zealand, being a Kiwi. Aaron Dunn second place, Mick Polymere third place, Carl Smith of Innovation in 4th, Jeffrey 5th, James Thorpe 6th, Craig Watson 7th, and then we got JJ in 8th, Shane Johnson, Tom Aliff 9th, Hassan, Vegan Porsche, and your B-Dog is his name on Swift Power, but from your team, from WP TAS. So, this was our final eCrit broadcast, Wes and Bernie. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, it's a little bit sad that it seems like we're just getting started, but there's going to be more around the corner, with this, and it's been really cool covering it with you, Jasper. And it looks like Will Clark's tuned in and said, "How far to go?" So, Will, we've just run and won. So,
turn back the broadcast when we're done, Will. We're going to be off air in about a minute or so. The video will be available. Go back 3 minutes and watch the insanity. Ensure it's good. It's worth it.
Cool. Thanks
for finishing note, Wes. Next week, September the 23rd. Next Tuesday, there won't be an eCrit broadcast. September the 23rd at, I think, 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, your local time, we'll be broadcasting live eRacing finale. So if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure to tune in September the 23rd, online or offline at the venue at Rapha Cycle Store in Melbourne. Bernie Salzberger, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to come on here. Wes, it's been a pleasure. Anything last words you guys want to say?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been good. It was exciting, and well done through all the races.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you September 20th.